King Kong ain't got shit on me. Today's review is going to be Training Day. I have the DVD here, but it's probably on Netflix. This is an awesome movie. I love it. And I was thinking recently, we haven't really had too many great cop movies in the last few years. This is close to 15 years old at this point, but still one of the best to come out within that time. And I mean, definitely we've had, like a good detective mystery kind of movies, those ones, but that's definitely a different thing. I mean, like, the mean streets, take down the bad guys, drug dealers, organized crime, that kind of cool stuff, which this movie just oozes with. And it's carried by some excellent performances from Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke, both fantastic in their roles. And it's this kind of movie where it's like, okay, Training Day, so this is the day, when the cop is going to be put to the test. He's an up-and-comer, and all these things are going to happen to test him, and all these things are going to happen to challenge him and threaten him, basically. And I mean, one thing that probably a lot of people will kind of bring up in this movie is that how can all this shit happen in one day? Well, definitely in one span of a day, so much happens, so many like coincidences, and so many things like are presented and then resolved, and all that stuff. I guess, like, theoretically, this movie could have easily taken place over, like, the course of a week or so, even 2 weeks, even a few months. But, I mean, for one thing, you'd have to change the title. Training Week doesn't sound as interesting, I guess. But the thing is, you can suspend your disbelief for that. And that's okay, because material like this that can be a little contrived and maybe even a little cheesy, when it's followed through with performances that are so committed, it heightens the material, I think, and no other great example of that is in this kind of movie, where Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke, they play it so straight and they commit so intensely to this material that you kind of like forget all that stuff and you get wrapped up in it. And I think that's something that Antoine Fuqua, the director, he understood, because he's able to make this a really gritty, kind of stylish movie. And the thing is, like, we've seen from Fuqua like some very, very different types of movies after this one. This was kind of his breakthrough, and I think he's going to be doing the Magnificent Seven remake, I think. Maybe I'm not clear on that, but whatever. But he has a lot of talent as a director, in that he understands that, and he understands that you have to make this about the characters first and foremost. The plot is secondary, and the characters are really compelling here, because when you think of all the scenes in the movie, there's some cool scenes, there's some really tense scenes. Like there's standoffs, there's shootouts, there's all that kind of stuff that you come for in a movie like this. But the best scenes, the absolute best scenes, are just scenes of dialogue between Alonzo Harris and Jake in the car, just kind of talking, philosophizing, basically, and, kind of like the street smart kind of way. And that's great. That is so compelling. And to take that material so seriously, I think is just, indicative of the quality of this, the overall quality of this movie. And I think, needless to say, it kind of says a lot of the movie that Denzel Washington, he won the Oscar for this movie. He won fucking Best Actor in a leading role for playing Alonzo Harris in fucking Training Day. That's how good he is, and he is phenomenal in this movie. So is Ethan Hawke, who was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor. It's just these great, intense performances that really, really make you kind of forget about some of the silly aspects of the plot and get wrapped up in it. And I mean, definitely, if there's any other criticisms, maybe it's because basically the villain in the movie, Alonzo, he overshadows, he upstages the supposed good guy of the movie, which is Jake in Ethan Hawke. Which, yeah, maybe you can kind of see it that way, but kind of the way I think, well, at least the way I see the movie, it's a dual story. So you do have the story about the trainee detective, trying to prove himself, trying to stay moraled in a very unmoraled environment, and constantly being tested and sticking to his ground, and kind of like like a high noon kind of thing where he stands up above everybody else, even though he's losing friends left and right. But it is also the story of Alonzo Harris, where his head gets too big. Yeah, he feels he's absolutely unstoppable, and then he kind of learns his lesson, pays kind of his price for all that. So I think there's a dual story there, and even with, you know, the villain upstaging the hero. If there are any heroes, any villains in these kinds of movies, you know what Antoine Fuqua said of the movies, like, well, it's kind of like Jake. He's getting in the car with the devil, and the devil is tempting, and you know. Washington's performance, it's absolutely seductive and entrancing in that kind of way. So he sells that aspect of it. I think it's an awesome movie, one of my favorite cop movies ever. I'd rate Training Day 3.5 stars out of 4. Great performances, heighten the material, and makes it better than maybe it should have been. But that's okay, because it's very entertaining. And if you haven't seen Training Day, you're doing yourself a great disservice. Check it out if it's on Netflix. Find it on DVD. Find it. Watch it. You won't be sorry. So that's my review for today. Thanks for watching. As always, comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you later.